And more than 500,000 homeowners will soon be in for a rude awakening. That's because their adjustable mortgage rates are scheduled to reset and the payments are out of reach. With me now is Larry Finkelberg from AmeriHome Lending Incorporated, and we also have Dan Kaplan from Clark Financial. Now, let's start, Larry, with these resets. What is the scenario that's about to happen for a lot of these homeowners?
The big concern is with what's called the option arm. This is a loan where you had 4 payment options, one of which required that you didn't even pay all the interest. Now, in the interest rate environment that we're in now, rates are relatively low, but at some point, once you've accrued enough interest, these loans reset to an amortizing type loan, and that's when you'll see payment jumps from, $1,500 up to $3,000. So people really do need to start to get ahead of those if they've got these option arms.
And we certainly saw this situation in the past where a lot of people wound up going into foreclosure because they couldn't make their mortgage payments. Now, Dan, can people refinance these loans into a 30-year fixed rate?
That's what I was going to say. Because of the low interest rate environment, it's a wonderful time to consider that. For many of these adjustable rate mortgages, people will not see price shock in terms of significantly higher rates. If there's been deferred interest or negative amortization, that could not be true. But on a typical ARM that was originated 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, you might see a payment actually come down. However, at some point in time, hopefully far down the road, interest rates are going to be higher than they are today, and it might be worthwhile looking into a more conventional type ARM or a fixed rate.
Now, Larry, if you are looking to refinance one of these mortgages so you don't have to see your payment double, essentially, and that you can't afford the loan, is the home value going to be an issue? Because a lot of people bought these homes when they were very inflated. They might be underwater on their loans now.
That's the big challenge, especially with the option arm, because the government programs that allow you to refinance even if you've lost all the equity in your home, one of those requirements is that it was originally a Fannie or Freddie loan. The option arms were not, so that could pose a challenge for some, but certainly you want to start looking at it now, and as Dan had mentioned, the rate adjustment in the short term might be a pleasant surprise. It's really making sure you don't get blindsided 3, 4 years down the road.
Now, looking at the overall housing market lately, things are looking pretty good in comparison to what we were looking at a couple months ago. Now, the first-time homebuyers tax credit has gotten a lot of recognition for really helping those numbers, but that's running out soon. Only 95 more days until that's over, and it takes about 90 days to close a deal. Are you concerned that when that goes away that it might hurt some of the business that you've been doing, Dan?
I think that was icing on the cake. I think if it's right for somebody to purchase a home, it's right to purchase a home. And the $8,000 credit is gravy. If you can afford it, if you're comfortable with what the payments will be, and in many cases, even with 3 or 5 or 10% down, your monthly mortgage payment, because of this low interest rate environment, will be about the same, some cases even less, than what you're paying in rent. So the question is, can I come up with the money I need for the down payment and the closing costs? The $8,000 is a big help, but if you can do it with or without that, it's probably a good time to buy.
Now, we have about 30 seconds left, Larry. What are your expectations for the market in the next couple months?
Well, I think the interest rate environment is going to remain relatively low. The government treasury program is set to expire at the end of October, which that could create a slight interest rate hike, but I think we're going to be in a good buying environment, and people seem to be getting off the fence now, so I'm cautiously optimistic.
Well, we appreciate the advice and the tips.